Ever wondered how anyone predicts the future of something as, well, wild and unpredictable as cryptocurrency?
Oh, absolutely.
For many, trying to figure out where digital assets are headed can feel a lot like, trying to read tea leaves, right?
That's a good way to put it. It often does.
Well, today we're pulling back the curtain a bit. Our mission is to take a deep dive into the fascinating and sometimes wildly conflicting forecasts for Flare or FLR.
Right.
We've stacked up reports from some key players, Changelly, 3 Commas, CoinCodex, and CoinLore.
A good mix of sources there.
Exactly. And our goal is to extract the most important nuggets of insight, those surprising facts, and the varying viewpoints to help you become truly well-informed about FLR's potential future without, hopefully, getting lost in the data overload.
Let's try and make sense of it.
Okay, so to really understand where Flare might be headed, we first need to pinpoint exactly where it stands today, July 20, 2025.
The starting point.
Right now, its trading price is hovering around, say, 0.02 cents to 0.205 USD. There are slight variations across our sources, but that's the ballpark.
Pretty tight range today.
Yeah. Its market capitalization is sitting at approximately $1.4 billion, with a circulating supply right around 69.7 billion FLR. So quite a few tokens out there.
That's a lot, yeah. And to give that current snapshot some historical perspective,
Please do.
Flare's all-time high was 0.0502. That was hit back on February 27, 2024, according to CoinLore.
Okay, so not that long ago, but a ways off from current prices.
Exactly. It means it's currently down about 59.58% from that peak. That's a significant dip, and it really highlights the inherent volatility we often see in these assets.
For sure.
On the flip side, its all-time low was apparently $0.01, according to Changelly.
Right.
Looking at more recent movements, its price has seen a small decrease over the last 24 hours. Could be anywhere from, say, negative 2.86% to a slight gain of plus 1.69%, depending on which source you're looking at right now.
Mixed signals even in the short term.
But if we zoom out just a bit, to the last 7 days, it's actually seen a pretty significant rebound, around plus 20.58%.
Oh, interesting.
And even more over the last month at plus 15.04%. So this recent surge suggests maybe some underlying momentum, even with that larger historical drop we mentioned.
Okay, so with that current snapshot in mind, the big question is, how are the experts actually trying to make sense of this market, especially when it comes to investor sentiment?
Yeah, the mood of the market.
A widely used tool is the Fear and Greed Index. And what's fascinating is that multiple sources, Changelly, CoinCodex, and 3 Commas, all show a score of 72.
72. Consistent there.
Right. That's a strong indicator of greed in the market sentiment. For those less familiar, this index helps gauge investor behavior. 0.24 is extreme fear, 25.49 is fear, 50 is neutral, 51.75 is greed.
Where we are now.
Exactly, and 76.100 is extreme greed. So 72 puts us firmly in that greed territory. Suggests people are feeling pretty positive, maybe too positive.
Well, that's where it gets intriguing, because there's some mixed messaging here. While the Fear and Greed Index points firmly to greed, often a sign of rising confidence, and CoinCodex and CoinLore generally describe this sentiment as bullish, based on their technical analysis.
Okay.
3 Commas' current recommendation for Flare is explicitly sell.
Sell, with a greed index of 72.
Exactly. It raises an important question for anyone looking at these signals. Why the mixed messages? What's driving that sell recommendation against the broader sentiment?
Right. What are the technicals telling us?
Well, digging into the technical indicators might offer some clues, or maybe just more complexity. Flare's price currently sits above its 10, 20, 50, 100, and 200-day exponential moving averages, the EMAs.
That sounds bullish.
It does. CoinLore highlights this as a classic technical signal, suggesting strong underlying momentum and sustained buying interest across different timeframes, generally positive.
Okay.
However, when we look at the Relative Strength Index, the RSI, we get conflicting readings.
Here we go.
Yeah. CoinCodex shows 67.59, which is generally considered neutral, maybe leaning slightly towards overbought, but not strongly.
Right.
But CoinLore shows 78.11. That does indicate overbought conditions, which can often suggest a near-term price drop might be on the horizon.
So one says neutral, one says potentially time for a pullback.
Exactly. And to complicate things even further, CoinLore also points out a Ripley RSI of 0.
0. That usually means
Oversold. Deeply oversold on the weekly time frame.
wow. So daily looks overbought, potentially due for a drop, but weekly looks extremely oversold, suggesting maybe a bigger rebound is possible.
Precisely. This is where it gets genuinely complex for a trader. Do you react to the daily overbought signal or the weekly oversold? Which time frame matters more? It forces a decision, or maybe just waiting for clearer signals?
That is a fascinating paradox. It's like having two compasses pointing in slightly different directions for the same exact moment. And it gets even more nuanced when we bring in the idea of market correlations, right?
Yeah, how it moves with other coins.
CoinCodex points out that Flare has a positive correlation with major cryptocurrencies like XRP, Cardano, and Mantle. So if those are trending up, Flare often follows. Makes sense.
Standard behavior for many altcoins, yeah.
But it also has a negative correlation with others like Pump.Fun and Monero. This suggests they often move in opposite directions.
Right.
So a dip in Monero could sometimes align with a rise in Flare, adding yet another layer of complexity to figuring out its next move.
It's definitely not moving in isolation.
Okay, let's shift gears. Maybe the most compelling part of this deep dive is what the immediate future holds. Do these sources agree on Flare's path for, say, next week?
Spoiler alert, probably not.
Chuckles? Spoilers?
Yeah.
They absolutely do not. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Late ons.
CoinLore, for instance, predicts FLR could reach 0.0243 in the next 10 days. That suggests about a 10% gain from this week's highest prognosis. For tomorrow, July 21st, it forecasts a modest 0.0206, just a 1.5% gain.
Okay, slight optimism there.
Then, Changelly estimates an average trading price of VONG 802466 for July 2025 overall, with a potential ROI of 20% for the month. Still positive.
Consistent with CoinLore's 10-day view, roughly.
But on the flip side, CoinCodex predicts Flare's price will drop by negative 25.13% to 0.0155411 by August 19th.
Wow, that's a sharp drop.
And it even forecasts a potential decrease of negative 27.28% to 0.015094 by just July 27th. That's less than a week away. A huge difference from the others.
A completely opposite direction.
And then 3 commas just offers a much narrower predicted range for the next 24 hours, basically between 0.10204 and 0.02 Very tight, very short-term focus.
So a mix of slight gains, significant drops, and just holding steady in the very near term.
Exactly.
The practical implications of these immediate conflicting forecasts are pretty significant for anyone watching this asset closely.
How so?
Well, for example, CoinLore indicates that the first major uptrend resistance level for Flare is at 0.0228 cents, with support down at 0.0194.
Okay, key levels to watch.
Right. This means if the price manages to break above that 0.028 resistance, it could potentially climb towards the next level, maybe around 0.0248 levels.
Understanding these key support and resistance levels becomes crucial for short-term traders trying to navigate such wildly divergent predictions. They're looking for confirmation, for breaks of these levels amidst all the noise.
Got it. Looking for those technical signposts. Okay, buckle up for this next part, because if you thought the short-term predictions were wild, the long-term forecasts for Flare are, well, they're in a league of their own. This is truly the core of our deep dive, because we see a truly significant divergence when we stretch our gaze out to 2025 and beyond.
The crystal ball gets really cloudy, or maybe really bright, depending on who you ask.
Exactly. On the one hand, we have the unbridled optimists, like Changelly and CoinLore.
Okay.
Changelly, for example, paints a very bullish picture with, frankly, staggering potential returns. For 2025, they see an average price around 0.0246, similar to their July forecast, with a potential ROI of 33.2% for the year.
Moderate for 2025. But then, by 2030, that average jumps to around 0.1643. That's an 809.8% potential ROI from today's price.
Okay, now we're talking significant gains.
And if you're really looking far out, by 2040, they predict an average of $15 or 1 cent.
$15 from 2 cents.
$15.01 with a staggering potential ROI of over 82,000%.
What?
And it doesn't stop there. By 2050, an average of 21.94 cents, which is over 117,000% ROI. I mean, these numbers are astronomical.
They really are. Eye-popping figures.
What kind of growth trajectory, what kind of scenario would even need to happen for even a fraction of that to be plausible? Are we talking mass adoption or a paradigm shift in the entire financial system? What's the thinking there?
That's the billion or maybe trillion-dollar question, right? For such long-term projections to even begin to materialize, we'd likely be looking at Flare becoming a truly foundational piece of blockchain infrastructure. We're talking deeply integrated into mainstream finance or decentralized applications on a massive, massive scale. It would have to assume consistent exponential growth and adoption, overcoming significant regulatory hurdles.
Which are considerable.
Huge, and perhaps even replacing parts of existing financial infrastructure. It's certainly banking on an extremely optimistic future for the entire crypto space, with Flare playing a key role.
Right. And CoinLore is also highly optimistic, though maybe not quite that extreme long term.
Okay, what do they see?
For 2025, they expect Flare to reach $0.0441. That's a 117% increase from today.
It's still very strong for next year.
By 2030, they predict it could reach $0.1067. That's over 5 times the current price and more than double its previous all-time high.
Okay, respectable growth.
Their 2040 forecast ranges between about $0.15 and over 10s and $34.9 and 49 and 0.3974 technically. That suggests a potential increase of up to like 1,858% from today.
Significant, but orders of magnitude less than Changelly's $15.
Absolutely. And their algorithmic prediction system even suggests Flare could reach as high as maybe $1.55 within the next 10 years. Still bullish, but more grounded than $21 by 2050.
Right, different shades of optimism.
But then we have the conservatives, maybe even the skeptics, 3 commas and coin codex.
The other side of the coin, so to speak.
Completely. 3 commas presents a far more conservative and often quite bearish outlook. For 2025, they see an average around 0.02057, basically flat from today.
No growth next year, essentially.
And by 2030, they predict an average of 0.01702. That's lower than today's price.
A decline over the next 5 years.
Yes. They explicitly state poor growth potential and that the coin is predicted to fall in price, assuming it will reach about the 0.138 nut mark in a 5-year plan.
So a very pessimistic view compared to the others.
Diametrically opposed, yeah. And Coin Codex, they sort of fall between these two extremes, but critically they explicitly limit the long-term growth potential.
Okay, how so?
They forecast an average of about 1.0158 sets for 2025, so slightly down like 3 commas. But then it increases to around 0.1055 by 2030, giving it potential ROI of about 335%.
So some growth by 2030, similar magnitude to CoinLore, but starting from a lower 2025 base.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. Coin Codex states that its algorithm estimates Flare will not reach $1, $10, or $100.
Explicitly ruling out those high targets.
Yes, with the highest expected price by 2050 being just under 60 cents, 0.599673. So when Changelly projects over 100,000% ROI in $21, and 3 commas predicts a price fall, is there a scenario where both are in some way right, maybe reflecting different assumptions or time horizons?
That's a fantastic question, and it really gets to the heart of why these discrepancies exist.
Yeah.
As 3 commas themselves put it, predicting something so perfect is completely impossible.
Good disclaimer.
It is. These different predictions aren't necessarily about who's right or wrong in an absolute sense today. Instead, they arise because each source uses different algorithms, different statistical models.
Different inputs.
Exactly. Different weightings of historical data, varying fundamental assumptions about future market conditions, about the project's actual success, about regulation.
All the unknown.
All the big unknowns. One model might prioritize recent price momentum heavily. Another might be more influenced by long-term cyclical patterns they see in the broader crypto market. A third might factor in potential regulatory risks much more heavily, leading to a conservative forecast.
Like different weather forecasts using different data points and models. One sees sun, another sees rain.
That's a great analogy. It highlights this inherent complexity. It means that even with sophisticated tools, a precise, uniform forecast remains elusive in this really dynamic world of cryptocurrency.
So for anyone listening, anyone navigating the crypto markets, whether you're a seasoned trader or just trying to understand this whole new asset class,
Which is a lot of people.
making sense of these wildly different forecasts is not just interesting, it's kind of crucial, right? Our goal with this deep dive was really to provide you with those important nuggets of knowledge, the key takeaways, so you can be well informed without getting totally bogged down by all the conflicting data,
Hopefully distilling it down.
allowing you to quickly grasp the diverse perspectives that are out there.
And alongside that, it's absolutely crucial to reinforce the universal disclaimers that come with all these sources.
Oh, definitely.
None of this information is financial or investment advice, period.
Cannot stress that enough.
They all emphasize the importance of doing your own research, DYOR, because of the inherent volatility and the often, frankly, arbitrary movements we see in the crypto market.
Oh,
Ultimately, your own due diligence, your own research remains paramount in making any decisions based on this kind of information.
absolutely. So there you have it. When it comes to something as volatile and, let's face it, speculative as cryptocurrency, expert predictions are clearly not uniform, not even close sometimes.
Far from it.
You've now seen the full spectrum for Flare, from incredibly bullish long-term growth forecasts that would make any investor
The
dream,
multi-1,000% returns.
to much more conservative or even declining outlooks. The full range.
It covers all the bases, doesn't it?
It really does. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. Given these wildly different outlooks, how do you decide which sources or methodologies, if any, to trust? And maybe more broadly, how does understanding these varied predictions influence your approach to learning about other complex and uncertain topics, like, say, climate models or economic forecasts, where you also see experts disagreeing?
That's a great point. How do you weigh conflicting expert opinions?
Something to chew on.